What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number whatever we're on. I don't know. It's too much at this point for me to keep track of. 524 of the Smark Smack Talk podcast. Hot tags of the week, where we'll be breaking down some of the current events and rumors and news and gossip and other things that have happened in the world of pro wrestling over the past few days that we feel like talking about. I'm Tony Mango. Robert DeFelice is with me. What's up, Rob?
I'm doing pretty great today, Tony. It's getting really hard to keep track of these things. 524. I've been on at least, 200 of them?
It seems like it. I don't know. It's been a couple of years.
Something like that. It's been a while, and I'm glad to be here still.
I'm glad to have you. Glad to have all you listening as well. Thank you for joining us for this. We'll see you next time. It sounds kind of the way I'm doing that. This isn't going to be a super long one. I'm not feeling it tonight, to be perfectly honest. I feel much more inclined to do a podcast that I want to do after we do this. I want to do a bonus features to talk about movies with Rob and do that on our Fanboys Anonymous channel instead. The topics that we're going to talk about, some of them are important. Some of them just are what they are. And we're not going to sit here forever and talk about that. You guys got 2 episodes already this week. I don't feel like I'm shortchanging you. But with all these things we're talking about, we want to know what you have to say still, regardless. So drop a comment below. Tell us your thoughts. While you're doing that, do all the usual stuff. Like and follow and share and subscribe and whatnot. You know how it goes.
Do that?
They should. If they don't, ask a friend. Patreon, I mentioned. Patreon.com/SmarkOutMoment. Same deal. Hit the join button. Follow on Facebook and Twitter. All right. Let's talk about the big one. Kevin Owens re-signed with WWE.
Yo, how do I work for Fightful and I didn't get the email right away? So I was being told this by other people. But yeah, Owens signed. Look, I made the joke that there's somebody out there going, screw his kids, what about my needs? PWG and Mount Rushmore and Package File Driver. And then while doing the AEW show, somebody was actually like, Owens lost a fan today.
Oh, come on.
Okay, alright. The fucking guy has a family, and I'm sure WWE is treating him well. So I'm happy for him as long as he's happy. I do hope that WWE treats him like a star moving forward, because he's had a bit of a, roller coaster run. But no, you can't say fuck his, I'm mad that he made the better decision for his family. Fuck off.
Yeah, we don't know the specifics of course, family life behind the scenes, because we don't need to. It's, his personal business.
Yeah, he's allowed to have a life.
Right. And if he made the judgment call that this is best for his family, then all we should really do is hope that that's true and that it works out, because what's the fucking problem? I do wish that we could see him against a bunch of the people that are in AEW. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, what have I been saying all these years? I want him to be in WWE and be a top guy in WWE more than anything else. So I'm happy about that.
Phil Lindsay, I believe, was the one that said, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, it's 12:30 in the morning. But I do believe it was Phil Lindsay that said, we'll look back on this and know that Owens was one of the first people to actually take advantage of the betting war, for lack of a better term. And yeah, good for Owens for staying. I, of course, as a fan who's just so done with WWE,
mm-hmm.
I don't like this. But as a person who has bills and who can't imagine what it's like to have 2 children and a mortgage for a house of what I can presume he lives in, yeah, good for you, Kevin Owens. You take the money and, you do what you gotta do.
Here's one big positive that I'm assuming a lot of people are forgetting about. He gets to have a feud with Edge now, most likely.
Yeah. Yep. And I would do that at WrestleMania.
It's got to be either Edge against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania or Edge against AJ Styles.
I selfishly want Edge as a world champion, but I think the time to do it was this year when he was, 10 years to the day of having to give up the title. And, he won the Royal Rumble at number one. I was thinking about that. That's in this calendar year, Tony. Insane. It feels like that was a long time ago.
To fight Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. It's insane.
Roman Reigns, who had been off his legendary feud with Kevin Owens about the handcuffs and all that. We're going to talk about that in our end of the year awards. This year, this fucking year. But the Owens stuff, look, yeah, we're not going to get Owens Omega. We're not going to get Owens Orange Cassidy. That kind of stuff is disappointing. But it also doesn't mean that he's going to be there forever. And I don't know how this really works 100%, but Meltzer was talking about it. He said basically what WWE's contracts are. And if you think about it, this is pretty true. So I was like, I never really thought about it this way. They're 90-day renewing contracts. Because at any point they can fire you, and then 90 days later you're gone.
Yeah. Huh.
So
that's good.
It's kind of like, in reality, even if he signs a 3-year deal or a 5-year deal or whatever it is, he really is only 90 days away from competing in another spot if that happens. So who's to say they don't go through their next round of budget cuts and they don't act as odd and baffling as they've done for other things this year, where they've, signed BFAB to a new contract and fired her like 3 days later. They've done it with more than one person. Owens might not be in WWE in a month.
I think here's the thing with Owens, knowing that he's going to walk over to the other channel and be a star, maybe they're not so keen on letting him go. Whereas you can let go of look, I think they're stupid for letting Adam Cole walk, personally, but maybe it was just like, hey, we didn't know what we could do with Adam Cole, so we let him go. Owens is a proven commodity on the main roster, and they're running out of those. Quite frankly, they're running out of those rapidly.
I'm really wondering when it's going to hit them that they don't have many people left. Because, at a certain point, how much budget cuts can sustain themselves,
Yep.
Like, when you get a company outside of pro wrestling, and it'll be like, say like a restaurant, for instance, and they'll go, well, we're not making a whole lot of money, so we got to make some budget cuts, so we're going to have less staff. And then suddenly their reviews on Yelp go down because, it took forever to get my food. And everybody was so stressed out that the waiter was like annoying to me. And the chef fucked something up because there was one less chef, so they had to do twice as much food preparation. And then because of that, the food didn't taste as good. And then this happens and that happens. And suddenly less and less people go to that restaurant. Eventually, when you have less and less people on the roster, you have less and less people to watch. So you just can't keep cutting everybody. It's just, it doesn't work. It's not feasible. So I wonder if Owens is one of those first guys where they've been like, well, shit, if we get rid of them, who do we have? Maybe we should actually start keeping some of these guys.
Maybe this is one of the ones where we know that Vince is more on TV, right? Maybe this is one of the ones where he's like, no, I've let this man frog slash me. How about we don't let him go? Like,
it could also be that he gets along better. We've been hearing a lot about the whole Bray Wyatt going against the creative and being critical and whatnot. Maybe Owens is just sort of like, if you want me to do it, I'll do it, boss. And then that's why they make an example out of Bray Wyatt and be like, he's a big star and, whatever, but see, we'll fire you if you don't go along with it. Maybe it's that kind of thing.
You know the Imagination song from Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
I just thought, subordination. Subordination. Like, look, I definitely think this is the most interesting time in wrestling behind the scenes in a long time. I wish the on-screen product reflected it. Because behind the scenes, it's never been more fun and more interesting.
I wish so badly that Bruce Pritchard could talk about this on Something to Wrestle.
I want to give him credit real quick because you brought him up. The most recent one about It's Time from '96 actually had some laughs like the old Something to Wrestle. So good for you, Bruce.
Good. I don't think I listened to that one yet.
Like some of those, like I want Bruce to talk about this stuff because one day we're gonna hear about it and it's gonna be some of the most interesting shit that you woke up one morning and everybody was just like, all right, we're changing everything about how we do this.
Yeah, it's a weird time. But, Kevin Owens back with WWE. That means that I think that there's more of a chance that Sami Zayn resigns. It's not a guarantee, but the way I kind of look at it is this way. If Owens would have left, Zayn definitely would have left.
Yeah, then it would have been like a countdown clock.
Right. But Owens resigning means there's more of a chance than ever that Zayn resigns. Although it's not a guarantee. So, whenever his deal is up, although some things are saying like, oh, maybe he already did sign. I don't know. We might not find out. But I want Owens to get back on track. I want him to be a top guy again.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you think there's a chance he wins at day one?
Owens?
Yeah.
His chances went through the roof from this news. I went from, okay, well, he's clearly the one taking the pin to now I believe he's got more of a chance than everybody except for Big E.
Look, I don't care. We're not doing a pay-per-view point on New Year's Eve. So I am for sure in the camp of Lashley's winning the belt.
Yeah, I don't know how my opinion is going to potentially change, but right now I'm still thinking Big E.
I'm thinking Lashley until further notice.
Well, coming up next, the next hot tag is Further Notice.
All right, then. Now that we're here at Further Notice, I still must say I think we're getting Lashley and Lesnar in Dallas.
Is that going to be the next lame pay-per-view name?
Lashley, Lesnar in Dallas, like this.
No, Further Notice.
Oh, it could honestly the way that they're doing that. Here's day one. Here's Further Notice in Saudi Arabia.
Like WWE 2K22 presents WWE Further Notice. Oh, they don't do pyro.
God, that's so sad. Really?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, not for many pay-per-views now.
That's so sad.
Let's move on to this topic. This is a sad and unfortunate topic. Hannibal. Not Lecter, but Devon Nicholson. This referee thing.
Look, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's weird.
Me neither.
It's fuck him.
From what I've seen, because I haven't seen footage, I haven't really done a deep dive. I've just been too busy and everything. It kind of seems like that's the case. It sort of seems like some guy that's like, what, if I have this correct, which I might not. You
can watch it. I'll send it to you.
Well, was the story correct that there was a plan that the referee would bleed, that he was quote unquote known to be a bleeder, and that the weapon used was not the right weapon or something, and that for some reason cooler heads did not prevail, and he just kept doing this and really screwed up this guy's head instead of being like, oh shit, there's a problem?
Listen, I don't know. I was sent a video of this man
basically just stabbing somebody in the head.
Murdering this motherfucker. Like, fuck this guy. Even if it's a work, like, why would you want to do this?
I don't get any of that shit. I don't understand why people do that. So, yeah. It's a major story for this week. It's not something to really spend a whole lot of time on.
TMZ and like...
Yeah.
I hate that the negative shit in wrestling gets press. Like,
it does. Far easily. Far more easily, I should say.
That's not how the world should work, but I'm not going there. Move on.
Yeah. Well, I've got TV talk, and
we gotta talk Hardy. That happened this week. That was Monday.
About wait, what else more with Hardy?
About Matt. Well, first of all, he has like a tour.
Oh, the music tour thing that
signing events and music. And secondly, Matt Hardy did a whole thing on Twitch where he stated that he believes Jeff is fine, and that he spoke to Jeff about that day, and that Jeff will speak about that day when he's ready, and that Jeff refused rehabilitation, and that much was correct, and that WWE also drug tested Jeff Hardy. So maybe we'll find out results of that one day. And I just wanted to at least talk about it to say Matt says Jeff is okay. Matt thinks that, Jeff doesn't need rehab. He thinks Jeff is in the best place he's ever been. Jeff is doing this music thing. Who do they put the belts on? And I'm not that I think he should go to AEW, but it certainly looks like that's where they're going, right?
I mean, the Young Bucks put up a Jeff Hardy picture on their Twitter, and
So who should they put the belts on to have that first Hardy match, or do you just do it with the Lucha Bros?
Well, because that Hardy Boys against Young Bucks is the thing. Yeah,
but that's something that we've all seen. I don't know if we've seen it at the scale of AEW, but they've had quite a few matches. I don't think that's the first place they go. I can't remember if they wrestled the Revival.
I don't think that they did in a regular match. I think they only had like a triple threat, maybe.
Mentally, I'm thinking perhaps it's best kept on the Lucha Bros because that would be a really fun match.
Wasn't it Hardy Boys when they won the tag titles at WrestleMania? Wasn't it them and the Good Brothers and the Revival and someone?
No, it was the Good Brothers, the Revival, the Good Brothers, because the Revival debuted the next night. The Good Brothers, End Zone Cass, the Bar, and the Hardys.
Okay.
Thank God I have a memory, let me tell you. Yeah, I can't ever recall Hardys versus Revival, but it's a match I'd want to see.
Hopefully, if everybody's in good spirits and good health, and
please be in good health. Okay, they've apparently had a handful of matches on Raw in 2017, but that's like 5 years ago already, which is scary.
And clearly forgettable that we didn't remember. So.
Yeah, clearly forgettable. They fought in July 17, 2017. They just had like a match.
So they are kind of hinting at the whole AEW thing. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of seems more and more likely that Jeff sort of just wanted out of WWE, but we're going to have to find out as time goes on. I'm looking through Monday Night Raw to see if there's anything that happened that's worth talking about. Nothing that we haven't really addressed in some other fashion. NXT UK, nothing really happened. I thought it was interesting that Trent Seven got it wrong and called Tyler Bate a Grand Slam champion, but that's not like super huge newsworthy kind of deal.
I guess he is in this case, though.
Well, Grand Slam, you got to have 4.
Well, NXT UK just doesn't have 4.
Yeah. Technically, they had the Cruiserweight for a little bit there, so he could have done that. That's where the Grand Slam comes in there. But the NXT side of things, some of the stuff that we had really doesn't matter in the long run. It sounds like I'm just like so pissy today. I'm sorry about that, but it's just true. Cameron Grimes beat Duke Hudson in a no-holds-barred match. Yeah, well, he beat him in the last match. Why did they even do this? So he could rip the head off? Well, we already saw that he was bald. Okay, look at that. He is bald.
Duke Hudson is a poker player who is bald and has a beard. You know who else is a poker player that's bald and has a beard? Oni Lorcan. Why? Why? Why didn't you just keep the guy that you had?
Let's see. Cora J beats Dakota Kai. Harland had his debut. He beat Guru Raj.
Good for Carlin.
You guys say good for Guru Raj?
I nearly did.
I did like one little part here. Grayson Waller was backstage, and Tiffany Stratton, who they're still not showing her face, despite how she wrestled on 205 Live. But that's not supposed to count because you're not supposed to watch it. Because fuck you for watching our TV shows. Which, by the way, I always talk about how they don't put main event anywhere. They act like that doesn't exist, and they don't put it on the show's page. I noticed this past couple of days that the 205 Live graphic on that show's page has 2 out of 4 people are fired. Haven't been in the company for months. So it goes to show how little they care about that too.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. But that's just like, come on.
It's I think it's Asher Hale and Ari Sterling are on there.
Basic shit, man.
It would take 3 minutes to change the graphic. And they just don't. So, yeah. You're not supposed to care. But we had Tony D'Angelo. He pretty much solidified he is a heel, despite the fact that he fought a heel.
Oh, everybody went back to their normal alignments because Ciampa jumped Bronson Breaker. Look, I almost said Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker. Can we just call him Steiner? I'm just gonna call him Steiner.
Good old Rex Steiner.
Like Ciampa jumped Steiner. Grayson Waller got yelled at by Steiner. Said you don't belong here, which is fine.
Well, the thing that I liked about that was when he's back there, Tiffany Stratton just walks up and says, "My daddy says you're a bad person." And then Io Shirai yells at him in Japanese, and he just goes, "I think she likes me." I was like, I like that little segment.
I made the joke on social media that long-term storytelling, because Grayson Waller was feuding for 5 seconds with Cameron Grimes, that Tiffany Stratton has a sugar daddy in Cameron Grimes because Grimes is rich. I just want to put that out there. You can do this. Not a bad idea.
They've had worse. The NXT was NXT. SmackDown, if you didn't see it, you didn't miss anything except for one thing.
The closing segment was okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really needed to see, which here's the long and short of it. Matches happen. None of them matter. The Viking Raiders are still going raid. And Paul Heyman's fired.
Until they're sponsored by Raid.
Raid Shadow Legends. That's the name of it, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the bug spray, but yes, also Raid Shadow Legends.
I just see whenever somebody adds that on their YouTube thing, it's just kind of in this episode sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, and I'm like, oh, I have to skip 30 seconds. Right. It's just it's not gonna be me.
So Paul Heyman is fired.
Yeah, emphatically fired with a Superman punch.
How do you feel about it?
Questionable. But more positive than not.
Because you actually didn't see it coming and it feels like it's fresh?
No. Because I think that Roman doesn't need him.
Do you think Paul's actually done?
Well, they did the Superman punch, and they were seemingly going to give him a concerto. And Brock Lesnar comes out and saves him. So I'm assuming they want to pair Lesnar back up with Heyman. And that Reigns is going to continue to work with Paul Heyman behind the scenes and just not be with character stuff. Because really at this point, Roman Reigns, he's good enough on the mic that what's Heyman really doing extra,
Okay, but the problem was when he punched Paul, the place blew.
Right. Oh, I mean, Roman Reigns is getting babyface reactions for sure.
Except, I'll give him this. Lesnar does get bigger reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Babyface Brock is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really digging babyface Brock.
But in that sense, babyface Brock doesn't necessarily need the ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
So my jaded ass thinks it's going to be a swerve, and it's so that you think Paul's finally made a decision until he finally makes a decision at day one when he turns on Brock once for all and joins Roman. I'd love to be wrong here, because I really, 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 really think Brock wins Rumble, Lashley wins belt, Brock faces Lashley finally. Can we just do the match?
I still just think that they're doing Lesnar Reigns at Mania, and part of me thinks at this point they took Heyman out so that something could happen at day one, and then Heyman can like be brought in for the road to WrestleMania as like a pro Brock guy.
You know, sometimes I wish you'd just shut your yap.
Ken Velasquez, then.
Look, I don't want to hear about Roman and Brock. I really think they're going to do Roman and McIntyre.
That's definitely a possibility.
Because they are keeping Drew away. So if they don't do it at the Rumble, then they're definitely doing it at Mania.
Or if they do it at Showdown.
Ew. They'll do Goldberg at Showdown.
I think they're doing Elimination Chamber.
The greatest Elimination Chamber?
Maybe not even just the greatest. I think that they're just doing it. Maybe they will call it the greatest, though. And it'll be like, instead of, was it 4 minutes between each person?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
Just 5? For some reason, I thought it was 4. I don't know why.
It'll be 10.
Yeah, it'll just be 10 minutes, just so it takes longer. Or what if they build an extra big one that has more people? And they're like, now there's like
one that had 7, and it was just, and 3 people will start because we have 7.
There was 7?
It was the one with Balor, wasn't it? Balor, Cena, Strowman, Rollins, Reigns, Miz, and Sheamus? Yes?
Let's see, a list of Elimination Chamber matches. I don't remember that at all. The Elimination Chamber here.
18, I believe.
Seems like a lot of people on some of these lists, but I'm not coming across that 100% yet. There's a Dan O'Brien one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. There you go. 2018. Roman Reigns defeated Braun Strowman, Elias, Finn Balor, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and The Miz.
All right, I said Sheamus instead of Elias, but I was close.
Close enough, and you got 2018, so.
That counts for something. Please validate my useless trivia.
I'm also not going to validate a certain website that steals all my graphics and half of my posts for things that spelled the word length wrong on their list of Elimination Chamber things that didn't work as well as Wikipedia. So if you see a website that takes graphics and they just replaced smarkoutmoment.com with their link.
They definitely replaced your headline on the website, and they just put their website's name.
They do that, and they can't figure out what fonts I use, so they just use like Arial. But I'm just gonna be bitter and salty.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery,
and that's why imitation crab meat is good.
I disagree. It's not. I had it.
It's not crab,
a couple months ago, but it wasn't great.
See,
somebody tried to tell me lobster tastes just like imitation crab, and I'm like, okay,
no, there's a difference. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm cool with imitation crab meat. Like, yeah, you get like a Connie roll with sushi, but it doesn't compare to the actual thing. No. So let's talk about winners coming.
So do you want to go backwards to forwards? Because the show opened with the longest thing.
Yeah, why not? Dynamite Diamond Ring match. MJF won for the third year in a row, which I was very, very happy about. I thought that was cool.
At this point, he should just stop. Like they should just stop the match when he's done with the ring.
I think that next year, depending on how certain things go, I'd like to see MJF in the Battle Royal again, and Wardlow throws him out. And then
I love that.
And then it's Wardlow against somebody else in the match itself, and MJF is like gonna screw him, so Wardlow doesn't get the ring. You know?
Yeah, I'd like that a lot. I think Ricky Starks would be a good winner of the ring.
I could see that. He's got a good heel character to go along with that. Or they just go with somebody else, like, I don't know, Orange Cassidy or something, you know, like just kind of.
Yeah, when he won, I thought he was going to win last year.
But yeah, I like that he's got that back. It suits him. It's a title without giving him a championship belt, so that works. Great promo and stuff too. MJF on the mic. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Texas's one single uniform daughter.
What was the line he said about pro incest and whatever?
Yeah.
And that's
I'm anti something and I'm pro incest.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
He's so good. There was an awkward thing with the Varsity Blondes that I didn't like, where Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. are talking about how Malachi Black had what he had done to Julia Hart, and it's like, oh, if you're not going to fight him, I will, and whatever. I'm just kind of like, this isn't working.
Yeah, but they're trying with Griff, and I like to see Griff.
Yeah,
trying, because they need to build new stars. You know,
I like Griff.
I like Griff too. Griff looks like money. Brian is going to be a star no matter what. He's a star based on name alone. He should really win that Owen. I keep going back and forth on who I want to win the Owen, but I have 3 names in mind, and Griff is definitely one of them. I'm not Griff. Brian is definitely one of them.
So that's something. Well, let's go into that thing. They officially announced that the Owen Hart Foundation tournament deal is going to start in May, and it's going to have a women's side and a men's side. So I didn't expect that to go. I thought that it was just going to be a men's tournament because, Owen Hart. But I don't have anybody in mind right now for it. If I'm looking at the roster, it all depends, because are they going to try to go, you think, with somebody who can kind of be an Owen Hart in some fashion? Or do you think they're going to go with somebody who would have like a tie to Owen Hart? Or do you think they're going to go with like, let's just use this as a vehicle to push somebody?
So I'll give you my 3 ideas for the men. Dante Martin, because he is the younger brother like Owen, with the really flashy moves like Owen. Brian Pillman, because he does have the link to the Hart family, because he's Pillman. And he also, again, great white meat babyface like Owen. And then I think Jungle Boy. If you really just want to push somebody, it's Jungle Boy. Now, for the women, I've got one name. Serena Deeb.
I thought you were going to say Julia Hart because she's hard.
That's also an option.
So
Serena Deeb should win.
Looking at the roster right now, assuming that they don't add anybody else that comes in, because, I mean, they're going to probably add some other people, but we can't really tell who's going to be who. Serena Deeb makes a lot of sense.
We could be talking about Liv Morgan being in AEW.
Right.
Like, you just never know with anything anymore. But yeah, I think it's Serena Deeb.
Yeah, she makes a lot of sense. Taikon Chi, I think, could work.
I'd be good.
Ruby like Soho, possibly.
I think she needs to win that TNT belt.
The TBS one?
What did I say?
TNT.
Shut up. Okay, TBS.
Because I think Thunder Rose is beating Baker. So she's got that in the pipeline, I think. Maybe Chris Statlander, but I kind of like the idea of Serena Deeb. Yeah.
You know what? Owen is the rocket, right? You go see aliens and rocket ships. Ah!
As far as the men...
Come on.
as far as the men go, I like the Pillman idea. I like the idea of the Jungle Boy option a lot. Wouldn't it be weird as hell if it's just like Billy Gunn?
It would be very weird, yes.
Just like, why does he win this? He'd be one of the weirdest options. Yeah, I kind of like those because some of the other people, like, what are they gonna really do with if they give it to like Scorpio Sky? I mean, I like him and everything, but yeah, kind of why?
Unless you give it to the British Bulldog, Dave Boy Smith Jr.
If you hire him, I mean,
give it to somebody who definitely deserves it, though.
Somebody who could do something with it.
Absolutely.
Instead of giving it to like, I don't know, Chris Jericho, where it's just like, well, what's the point?
He's Canadian.
And I don't think that it should be a heel. So I'm not thinking that like a Tony Nese should win or even a Ricky Starks. No, I think it needs to be a babyface.
The first one around definitely does.
Yeah.
And I think the woman will be a heel, so.
Yeah, same here. I like that Deeb option. I like the Jungle Boy option. I'm cool with those. Okay, do it, AEW. There you go.
There you go. I booked your tournament. You're welcome.
We were talking about Wardlow earlier, and I liked what they did with Sean Spears and Wardlow, where he's just like, he's already done, man. Just kind of pin him,
Yeah, and why are you listening to the people and shit like that?
Yeah. Wardlow's totally going to turn babyface and be a big babyface in the future. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. Not as big as Bobby Tunde.
Nah, I mean, few are. But let's talk about the real thing from Winter is Coming.
The commercials.
Damn right. You're hearing a whole lot of sirens in the background. They're like, don't make jokes, don't make jokes. No, the 60-minute time limit draw for the AEW World Championship. Adam Page against Bryan Danielson. Hell of a match.
Did you watch all 60 minutes?
I missed like 3 or 4 minutes.
This match was the best match I have seen on television in a long time. I think easily since like the Black and Gold era NXT.
It's on my match of the year list.
This fucking match was perfect. And I had been saying, and I wish I got my fantasy booking idea out there, because I had been saying Bryan's taking him to a full 60, because they're going to do the reverse Sting and Ric Flair from the Clash of Champions. I thought it'd be a battle of the belts, because, Tony Khan is a mark. But I love this. This was perfect. This was such a perfect match. I found myself actually lost in the moment and cheering Bryan and like, oh my God, you gotta tap him out. And he hits the buckshot. And Bryan is like almost seizing because he's just so hurt and he's trying to make sure he's not getting pinned. It's so good. Watch this fucking match.
Yeah, if you missed it, watch it for sure. Hell of a match.
It's the best wrestling match of the year, bar none.
It's going to win your ultimate end of the year award.
It's gonna win. I don't know. Are we doing a combined WWE AEW? Like, okay, what is it overall?
No, just as far as your AEW one.
Okay, so AEW gift. It's by far. And yes, recency bias is an issue. And look, there's been other great matches. There's been Blood and Guts, and the match between Baker and Rosa, and the match between Bryan and Omega, sure, and the Young Bucks Lucha Bros. It's a fantastic match. But this match was a pure wrestling match in every sense of the word, and it was fucking great. And yeah, it's going. Spoiler: it's gonna win my match of the year, unless somehow, in the next 2 weeks, something crazy happens, and I highly doubt it.
Well, I don't know yet what I'm gonna pick, but we will talk about that when we get to the next podcast that you're gonna hear from us. Pretty much, unless you are subscribed to the bonus features over on Fanboys, and then you'll hear us talk about whatever we talk about in a little bit. But the game plan is to do the AEW Awards next, and then to do the WWE Awards after that. So we got plenty of recap stuff to talk about over the next probably 7.5 hours worth of material. End of the year, man. It's
End of the year and beginning of the year, and this year, beginning of the year, it's crazy.
There's way too much happening at the beginning of this year.
I like it. I think it'll help me get into the rhythm a lot quicker. Like, kind of just like you're staying warm, you know what I mean?
Nah, I'm sweating. And it's not just because these are hot tags.
Very good.
Well, those are the hot tags for this week at the very least. Drop your comments below. Tell us your thoughts. We talked about most of our plugs. Follow me at Tony Mango. Follow Fanboys. Follow Smark Moment. You know it all.
Follow me at Dude Felice on every platform, including Instagram, where if you go on Instagram, you will see some highlights from some articles I have done recently, including Johnny Gargano shouting me out for an article I did about him loving Nickelodeon and wanting to be on Nickelodeon. I mean, like, Johnny seems like the kind of guy I would genuinely be friends with.
He seems like a cool dude.
He seems great.
Is the reason why he left NXT is because they were telling him that he can't do that on television?
Yeah, that's very good.
What was the phrase that they would say there, then they would get slimed?
Isn't it? You can't. Hold on.
Was it? I don't know.
We're gonna find out. Because now I need to know.
This is already heading into bonus features discussion. I think it's I don't know. But it's been so long since I've watched that episode. Yeah, the one episode. There's only one episode of that whole TV show.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they said you can't do that on television, and then they never made a second episode.
Okay, let's do it. I found a very old. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So I was worried about that. Alanis Morissette on there. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Well, if you do, drop a comment. And yeah, Dude Felice, Tony Mango, Smark Moment, Fanboys Anonymous. Check our Rumble movie fan tracks thing. Pay attention to when we do our Spider-Man talk, because that's going to happen. And whatever else is happening, we'll see you when we see everybody. Thanks for listening to this edition. Thank you for putting up with my annoying ass. I know I'm not super energetic tonight.
Hey, we love your annoying ass.
I mean, that's it's not quite America's ass, but it's Smark Out Moment's ass at the very least. Anyway, we'll see you next time, everybody. But for now, this has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out.